So I welcome you all to yet another session wherein we will be discussing interesting case study of Atul Auto, and we will test the secret sauces of multi-bagger. Five secret sauces, are they visible in Atul Auto or not? So without wasting much time, let us go forward with the session. So today's session we'll be discussing about Atul Auto, and I have said that it's a bet on India's entrepreneurial spirit. So why I'm saying so, let us go and discuss. Uh, we'll be seeing a video from DSP Mutual Fund, and they have explained about Indian auto industry, not three-wheeler in particular, but they have explained the entire auto industry. Some way you'll get to know that, because when the auto industry goes into a slowdown, all the segments go in the slowdown. This is what we have seen. And in this video, it is not related with actual three-wheeler market, but it will help us to understand the auto industry. So let us go forward and view that video.
Hello everyone, this is Kaushal Maru. I track the automobile and the auto ancillary sector at DSP Mutual Fund. I'll take you through a medium-term outlook on the sector. To give you a broad context, auto sector is about 6% of the index weight of the Nifty 500 and accounts for about 5% of the profit pool of the industry. A good way to start thinking about the future is to see how things have panned out in the recent past. We come back on 3 very weak years of the demand environment in the auto sector. It started in FY19, when in the second half of the year the NBFC crisis hit us and lending to auto consumers was significantly withdrawn, because of which demand environment significantly weakened. Then in FY20 we had the BS6 migration, and because of generally slow economic conditions, the demand saw an unprecedented fall. When one would have expected things to come back in FY21, the pandemic hit us. So these 3 years of weak demand environment have led to categories like PVs and CVs now clocking volumes which were almost there about a decade back. So a decade of no growth in volumes has led to a sharp drop in the profitability of the sector. The EBITDA margin of the sector is at a decadal low. Weak volumes, weak margins led to a weak ROC profile for the sector as well. If you think about it, the conditions are ripe for a mean reversion in both volumes and profitability of the sector. That's what people are already beginning to play for, and you will see the valuations are at historic highs when most of the fundamental parameters are weak, is because people expect a recovery happening in the medium term in this sector. So mean reversion is broadly what we are calling out for the sector. While we expected a cyclical recovery to start panning out from FY22, there have been still further external challenges which plagued this year. In quarter 1, we had the wave 2 of the pandemic related lockdowns. Then in quarter 2, we saw a very sharp increase in commodity prices, because of which the gross margins in the sector came off sharply. And then in quarter 3, the supply of semiconductors got impacted, because of which categories like CVs and PVs are not able to live up to the full potential of demand. As we sit today, most of these new challenges of FY22 are getting addressed. The high level of vaccination are reducing risks of further lockdown. The semiconductor supply situation is improving, and it doesn't look like that the commodity prices are likely to haunt us as much as they did in the last calendar year. So FY23 to 25, we expect most of these concerns to be behind us, and because of which we expect a double-digit volume growth in most of these categories. What could help is things like robust infrastructure spending from the government, revival in replacement demand, which we have been missing for the last 3 years, and general coming back of rural demand gradually. While the mean reversion in volumes and margins play out, there is one important factor which we would like you to take note of. That is the very sharp increase in penetration of electric vehicles. In fact, in markets like Bangalore, Pune, and Mumbai, the metro cities, the penetration is far above the national average. Generally, this is an important indicator of how things are likely to move in the future as well. Companies on their part have been lining up products to be launched on the electric vehicle side. As the transition from the ICE vehicles to electric vehicles happen, there will be certain categories which will be impacted more and certain will be impacted lesser. There will be companies which give us more confidence because of their R&D capability or the product portfolio that they have to be able to gain market share in the electric vehicles or to be at least able to tide over the other concerns of this category. So there will be a set of companies for which electric vehicles will become a threat, and for others it will become an opportunity. What one needs to think about is that in this mean reversion theme that we are likely to play that we are looking to play in the auto sector, we also marry it with the theme on electric vehicle side. Which are the companies which could see a product portfolio enhancing in electric vehicles? Which are the categories where the disruption of the risk of electric vehicles is lesser? That is how we are thinking about our portfolios. That is how we are looking to position ourselves to be able to benefit from both these trends.
They were saying was, and it is evident also, because auto industry had seen 1 decade of no volume growth, and apart from that, various bad things hit the sector one after another. The policy changes on BS5, BS6, all the policy changes. Apart from that, disruption from electric vehicle, nobody was sure what how the industry is going to pan out. Apart from that, the pandemic hit us, and when the pandemic hit us, a lot of financiers also stopped financing three wheelers also. That was, there were a lot of challenges which impacted the sector as a whole and impacted even Atul Auto in particular. So because of which Atul Auto went through a bad patch, and today we will be discussing that why in coming times Atul Auto can overcome those challenges and once again regain its last sales which it achieved. So before going forward, let us discuss what is a secret sauce of a wealth creator. I've discussed it multiple times. Once I'll discuss. See, any wealth creator means for a stock to become a multi-bagger in a span of 5 to 6 years, we need to have these secret sauces in them. So the first is high sales growth. High sales growth leading to margin expansion out of and the high sales growth happening because of operating leverage, due to operational leverage, which has led to margin expansion, because when the capacity is high and you're producing very low units in your the same capacity, your margins will be obviously low because asset sweating doesn't happen in that case. So to asset sweat, whenever the assets are sweated, the margins will automatically expand. So margin expansion led by sales growth, which is led by operating leverage, which will further lead down to debt reduction and free cash flow generation, which can further lead to high EPS growth. So if we have these secret sauces in any of a business, then we have a potential wealth creator in our hand. So let us study the case of Atul Auto with respect to secret sauce of a wealth creator, and then define whether Atul Auto is a serious long-term wealth creator or not, potential serious long-term wealth creator or not. And we have seen multiple cases where we have discussed these secret sauces in past also. See, a lot of people ask that where do you see stock going up 2 years from now, 1 year from now? or 6 months from now? Nobody can actually tell that. The reason for that is stock prices, interest rates, or economy, it cannot be predicted. But you can have a forecast on business. Forecasting a business and sales growth is much more easier than forecasting stock prices. And that's why, because if you are able to do this, there is no need of market going anywhere. There is no need of concerning about worried about markets and all those things, because you know how the business is going to perform. And in long run, which we have seen, is the only thing which makes a stock a multi-bagger is EPS. EPS and free cash flows. Unless and until a business has EPS growth, the profits have grown, the stock is not going to become a multi-bagger. That's why earnings is the most important thing which creates a multi-bagger. So if you are, I always say that don't be a stock market analyst, be a business analyst. If you are a business analyst, you will be able to withstand all the volatility of the market, because you know what you are getting into and you know where you are invested and all those things. So that's why understanding the business is very much important. So let us see this. Atul Auto, if you are saying this, they produce, Atul Auto manufacturers and sales auto rickshaw in domestic and overseas market. Atul, so let us go forward and understand.
The roads of life that burn under the sun of 44. Roads that shiver under -1. Sometimes slippery and thorny. Sometimes rainy and stormy. Good or bad, these roads are my life. On these roads, I run, I ride, I fly, but never stop. Because life is a journey to travel. 3 wheels, many lives, and thousands of twisting, turning roads. Atul Auto Limited, for journey called life. 5 decades ago, someone dared to tread differently. Late Mr. Jagjeevan Bhai Chandra,
Jeevan Bhai Chandra, father of
who had a
current promoter.
purpose, plan, and perseverance. He saw the way masses travelled in the interiors of India, where the transportation infrastructure was very poor. He realized and identified this need gap and wanted to address it. This aspiration made him engineer a new kind of vehicle. A vehicle that soon became an affordable, spacious, and efficient mode of multi-purpose transportation called the Chakra. Years later, destiny brought another innovative thinker to walk on the same roads, Mr. Jayanti Chandra. The world was his workshop, future was his client. He introduced his creation, Atul Shakti, which changed the transport scenario forever in urban and rural India. Atul Shakti became a faithful and uncomplaining partner, a workhorse. Atul Auto then decided to gear up towards more convenient products and launched the brand Atul Gem. Natural evolution took Atul Auto towards more safety features and modern looks, without compromising on its core. Strength, power, and operating economics always remained the genesis of Atul Auto's products. Year after year, it launched an array of successful products like Atul Smart, Atul Gemini Diesel, and Atul Gemini Alternative Fuel. Atul Auto's state-of-the-art manufacturing facility at Rajkot, Gujarat, has an annual production capacity of 60,000
Its
units.
production capacity
All
has
the
increased to
vehicles
1,20,000.
undergo a high standard manufacturing process through which they derive the strength they are known for. Chassis of Atul Auto's vehicles are fabricated at this body in white shop with electronically controlled spot welding guns to give better finishing and robust products that can sustain any road conditions. After fabrication, the vehicles are provided base coat at this cathode electrode deposition plant so that they can withstand the highest level of rust resistance from all weathers. Well-equipped paint shop that gives final coat to the vehicles for better aesthetics. Final shape to the vehicle is given at the automatic conveyor assembly line with highest degree of accuracy. This process facilitates mass production to meet market demands. Adherence to quality becomes the topmost priority, and each vehicle undergoes high standard testing process. Being equipped with the most advanced technology has always been Atul Auto's undeniable advantage. One man who started off on a journey years ago all alone, today has hundreds of people walking along with him to achieve a shared dream. People spread across the length and breadth of the country. The company is in its planning phase to set up a greenfield facility for additional production capacity to meet higher market demands. Having a pan-India presence already, today Atul Auto has even reached international shows. Atul Auto is a dependable name for unstoppable journey of each of its customers. We ensure that vehicles are on the road all the time because we understand that being on road is directly linked to earning livelihood for lakhs of common people. This is achieved by the company's customer-centric approach. During this journey called life, Atul Auto has earned smiles and happiness for its customers, stakeholders, and employees, making it the fastest growing three-wheeler company in India. National or international, all kinds of roads have welcomed Atul Auto for its strength, durability, and dependability, which fosters the productivity for all its customers. In this journey of trust, values, and innovation, welcome aboard Atul Auto. Let's walk on these roads of life. Let's explore new horizons. Let's grow bigger. Let's grow better. Let's open a new shining chapter of success.
So, hope you have seen the plant, the promoter, and how Atul Auto became India's fastest growing three-wheeler company. So these are all the products which they have, and their products are spread across all the spectrums. Their products are spread across all the spectrums. Like they have CNG, they have diesel, they have petrol, they have electric vehicle, and they have LPG also. So across all the spectrum. So lot of market participants are now confused whether what segment will really evolve going forward. But this company has no such concern. The reason for that is they are spread across all the spectrum, be it diesel, be it petrol, be it CNG, be it LPG, be it electric vehicle. So whichever the way market moves, or the demand moves, they can adjust themselves and move ahead with that. This is the biggest advantage which Atul Auto has compared to other. So numbers, the latest market cap of this company today is 393 crore. Current market price is 179. Book value is 132. Book value is 132, and return on equity is negative as on today. Return on capital employed is negative as on today. Market cap to sales is 1.26. Promoter holding is around 52.7%, and cash equivalents of 16.5 crores. Let me just open the screener. So these are all the numbers which I explained with you. The stock became a 100 bagger because the stock was trading at as low as 5 rupees in 2009, and it went up to as high as 600 rupees in January 2015. And this was a time when it became more than 100 bagger, and this was a time when Vijay Kedia made his 100 bagger returns in Atul Auto. So it has become a multi bagger in past. It has already become a multi-bagger in past. So Atul Auto, after this peak demand, because 2015 was a flourishing period for this company, everything was great about this company. At that point of time, if you just look at the PE ratio, old data is not available, but it was as high as 50 and 60. The PE ratio was 50 and 60. And when it was trading at lows, the PE ratio was as low as single digit, 5 to 6. Even if you look at from price to book basis, the price to book was as high as 10 times during 2015. The earlier data is not available here. Price to book was as high as 10 times earlier in 2015. Market cap to sales ratio, if you just look at the market cap to sales ratio in January in 2012, it was trading at zero point 0.8 times. In 2011 2012, it was trading at zero point 0.8 and 1 times, and the market cap to sales ratio went as high as 18 times in 2015. This was when the auto sector was full in upswing. That was the time when even Eicher Motors became a mega bagger during that time. So, and after that, during the last bad phase since 2015, the sales have gone up, everything has gone up, but the market cap to sales ratio is languishing as low as 1.2 and 1.3 times. And during March 2020, the market cap to sales ratio was just 0.5, half times market cap to sales, because that time the sales were also high. But right now, which we are saying the market cap to sales ratio of 1.2, but it is optically higher. The reason for that is in past 1 year there is no sales at all. The sales dropped 70% from the top. Let us just look at the numbers. So as I said that sales fell from a high time, like in 2019 they used to do a sales of 166 crore. The sales fell from 166 crore to as low as 32 crore, and we know the reason: the pandemic was the reason, because of which, and there were multiple reasons, because policy changes and all those which we discussed just now. So sales dropped from 166 crore to as low as 32 crore in 1 quarter, and because of which the stock has been languishing. The On an annual basis also, earlier, just few years back, they used to do a sales of 667 crores. Right now they are doing the sales of 312 crores, and they are doing a loss of 24 crores. So are we going to see a change, a big change in profitability going forward? Let us go forward and understand. Share capital is very low. The equity share capital is very low, which is one of the secret sauce of a mega bagger. If you just see the case of Sandur Manganese, the equity capital was very low. Even if you see the case of Balkrishna Paper Mills, equity capital is very low. When the equity capital is low, it leads to high EPS. Low equity, high EPS is one of the secret sauce of a mega bagger. So these were all the things. As we have discussed, promoter holding is 52.7%, which is very comfortable. Now let us see the next 5 years financial snapshot, which some of it we have already seen. Like from a net profit margin of 7.85%, the net profit margin is currently at minus 3.5%. But during 2014-2015 times, the net profit was as high as 9%. As high as 9%. Now I'll play some videos. This is management interview which happened in which is dated October 2021. So this will give you a better idea in October 2021 and April 2022. These are two management interviews which we will be looking now.
अब अतुल ऑटो के प्रेसिडेंट फाइनेंस जितेंद्र अधिया साहब को जोड़िएगा। अधिया साहब जुड़ते हुए, अधिया साहब फोन लाइन पे जुड़े। अधिया साहब कहाँ हो आप? साक्षात नजर नहीं आओगे क्या आज आप?
अरे सर नमस्ते आशीष जी, हम काफी टाइम के बाद मिल रहे हैं।
बहुत टाइम
जी
है।
सर।
तो आप अभी कहीं टूर पे हो क्या? आप फोन लाइन पे जुड़ रहे हो सर, आज दिख नहीं रहा, ऐसा क्यों?
सर आज मेरे ख्याल से आपकी जो टेक्निकल टीम है, दे हैड कोट मी ऑन द रोड।
अरे अधिया साहब, बहुत सारे डेवलपमेंट अतुल ऑटो पे, तो मैंने कहा आपसे बातचीत करी जाए। एक तो सबसे रीसेंट है कि भाई वो भायला डिस्ट्रिक्ट अहमदाबाद में एक नया प्लांट कमर्शियल ऑपरेशन की शुरुआत हुई। ये कितना बड़ा प्लांट है, 3 व्हीलर कितनी मैन्युफैक्चर करता हुआ नजर आएगा, और इस समय जो मौजूदा कैपेसिटीज हैं उस पर कितना ऐड करेगा?
आशीष जी, नया जो प्लांट है उसका कैपेसिटी है 60,000। हमारा जो
60,000 यूनिट्स एनुअली
एन्युअली, और राजकोट का जो प्लांट है इसका भी कैपेसिटी 60,000 है।
तो डबल कर दिया आपने।
दोनों मिला के पूरा जो कैपेसिटी है वो 1,20,000 यूनिट पर एनम का है।
मतलब आपने अपनी कैपेसिटी इस प्लांट की कमिश्निंग के साथ डबल कर दी।
जी।
और फिर ये जो आपका राजकोट वाला प्लांट था 60,000 यूनिट्स एनुअली, इसकी कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन कितनी चल रही थी इस समय?
देखिए, बिकॉज ऑफ कोरोना, कोविड एंड यूटिलाइजेशन तो खैर अभी काफी कम चल रही है, करीबन 30 से 40% तक यूटिलाइजेशन है। बट जिस तरह से सेकेंड वेव के बाद थिंग्स आर इम्प्रूविंग, वी एक्सपेक्ट दैट दिस इम्प्रूवमेंट विल कंटिन्यू एंड ग्रेजुअली वी विल बी एबल टू टेक द बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस पेंट अप डिमांड, एंड जो भी अभी तक बाकी रह गया है डिमांड में, वो हम आगे जाके उसका बेनिफिट ले पाएंगे।
ठीक है, ये तो ये ऐसे अनसीन टाइम्स हैं, इसमें कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन देखना नहीं चाहिए। अब हालात धीरे धीरे पटरी पे आएंगे, बिल्कुल ठीक। लेकिन ये जो डबल कर दी, 60 प्लस 60 कैपेसिटी, एडिशनल 60 के लिए खर्चा कितना हुआ सर, और ये फंडिंग कैसे हुई, बैलेंस शीट का क्या हाल है?
देखिए ये जो पूरा प्लांट है, इसके साथ साथ राजकोट के प्लांट में भी एक थोड़ा सा माइनर कैपेक्स हुआ है। दोनों मिला के करीबन 245 करोड़ का माफ कीजिएगा इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है हमने, जिसमें नया प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट भी है, प्रोडक्ट के लिए नई लाइन भी है, नए पिक्चर्स भी है। और जो पूरा का पूरा जो आइडिया है वो ये है कि अभी तक हम सिर्फ डीजल मार्केट को एड्रेस कर रहे थे, अल्टरनेट फ्यूल और इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का भी डेवलपमेंट इसके साथ हुआ है भारत में। और एक्सपोर्ट के लिए हमारे पास पूरा प्रोडक्ट रेंज अब अवेलेबल है, डीजल, पेट्रोल, सीएनजी, एलपीजी और इलेक्ट्रिक, और दोनों प्लेटफॉर्म पे, यानी छोटा व्हीकल भी हमारे पास है और बड़ा व्हीकल भी हमारे पास है। तो दोनों प्लेटफॉर्म पे हमारे पास प्रोडक्ट्स और उसके एप्लीकेशंस है विद मल्टीपल फ्यूल चॉइस।
इंटरेस्टिंग। अच्छा, मैं आता हूं इन सब डिटेल्स पे आगे। और लास्ट टाइम अधिया साहब हम लोग की जब बातचीत हो रही थी तब हम कोविड की गिरफ्त में थे, वो लॉकडाउन, रीजनल लॉकडाउन, तो उन सबसे जूझ रहे थे। तब आपने कहा था कि, तब मैंने सेल्स नंबर पे बातचीत करी थी आपसे, और तब मुझे याद पड़ता है आपने कहा था कि एक बार स्कूल्स खुलेंगे तो हमारा, क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट काफी वहां पे इस्तेमाल होता है, बढ़िया अपटिक्स देखने को मिल सकते हैं आंकड़ों में। तो अगस्त तक का आंकड़ा तो ठीक है, 1411 यूनिट्स के आसपास है, मैं उसमें ज्यादा फोकस नहीं करता। अब स्कूल्स खुलना शुरू हुए अधिया साहब अक्रॉस लेंथ एंड ब्रेथ ऑफ दिस कंट्री। अब तो इवन महाराष्ट्र कह रहा है कि भाई मंडे ऑनवर्ड स्कूल खुलने का सिलसिला। अभी मेरे ख्याल से वो 50% यूटिलाइजेशन होगा, बहुत ज्यादा डिमांड किक इन नहीं हो रही होगी। असल स्थिति क्या है, कितनी डिमांड में कुछ अपटिक आया इन स्कूल रीओपनिंग से, या इट्स टू अर्ली, ये अगला सेशन जब शुरू होगा तब असल डिमांड आएगी?
जी, मेरा मानना यही है आशीष जी कि जैसे जैसे ये टाइम आगे बढ़ता गया और दोनों के बीच में रिवाइवल का जो गैप बढ़ता गया, उसके साथ साथ बहुत सारी नई चैलेंजेस भी सामने आई है। जैसे कि आशीष जी, 3 व्हीलर में जो सेल्स होता है, करीबन 90 से 95% सेल्स जो होता है वो रिटेल फाइनेंसर की हेल्प से होता है। अब ऐसा हुआ है कि पिछले 1.5-2 साल से जिस तरह से ये पूरी परिस्थितियां बदल रही है, उसमें 3 व्हीलर के फाइनेंसर्स भी काफी हर्ट हुए हैं, क्योंकि उनका कलेक्शन जो साइकिल था वो काफी डिस्टर्ब्ड है। तो अभी एक और नया चैलेंज जो इसके साथ जुटा हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है वो ये है कि अभी जो फाइनेंसर्स है वो पहले अपना कलेक्शन साइकिल ठीक करेंगे और उसके बाद में नए बिजनेस पे ध्यान देंगे। दूसरा कि ऑब्वियसली कि अपनी बुक्स पे वो कम से कम डिफॉल्ट चाहेंगे, तो अग्रेशन काफी कम है फाइनेंसर्स का। इसके साथ साथ वो सिलेक्टिव क्रेडिट लेते हैं, जो पहले थोड़ा और अग्रेसिव जाके वो कस्टमर को चूज करते थे, क्रेडिट एक्सटेंड करते थे, वो काफी कम हो गया है।
ये एक और दिक्कत भाई, इस समय पुरानी सफाई करने में सब लगे हुए हैं, तो बहुत एग्रेसिवली इस समय लोन्स डोल आउट नहीं करे जा रहे हैं। तो अधिया साहब, ऐसे चुनौतीपूर्ण समय में यही रीजन था जो आपने ये जो खुशबू ऑटो फाइनेंस में अपना स्टेक बढ़ा दिया भाई, 30% से बढ़ाकर 70% कर दिया। ये भी तो मेरे ख्याल से थ्री व्हीलर ऑटो फाइनेंसिंग वाली कंपनी है।
एब्सोल्युटली, मैं थोड़ा सा करेक्शन करूंगा। 30% हमारा स्टेक था, 70% हमने लिया, यानी इट इज 100% ओन सब्सिडियरी।
अच्छा, 70 एडिशनल ले लिया तो 100% सब्सिडरी हो गई।
100%।
हाँ, मुझे लगा 30 से बढ़ाकर
subsidiary
70
हो
कर दिया। ओके ओके ओके। इसके पीछे लॉजिक क्या है? कितना खर्च करना पड़ा? खुशबू ऑटो फाइनेंस है कितनी बड़ी, और ये जो बाकी फाइनेंसर्स पैसा डोल आउट नहीं कर रहे, खुशबू कितना उस डेफिसिट को ब्रिज कर सकता है?
देखिए आशीष जी, ऐसा है कि जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि थ्री व्हीलर फाइनेंसिंग में रिटेल फाइनेंस का सपोर्ट काफी जरूरी होता है। हालांकि खुशबू ऑटो फाइनेंस 100% अतुल ऑटो के व्हीकल को तो फाइनेंस नहीं करेगा, बट ऑब्वियसली एक सपोर्ट के तो कैप्टिव पर्पस फाइनेंस कंपनी देख सकते हैं आप। दूसरा आप ये देख सकते हैं कि इट इज अ फॉरवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन फॉर द कंपनी। जहां तक अभी खुशबू की बुक्स का सवाल है, करीबन 160 करोड़ का AUM है, जिसमें से करीबन 70% थ्री व्हीलर्स को एलोकेट किया गया है। और आगे जाके ये जहां जहां पर भी रिटेल फाइनेंस की दिक्कत आएगी, से वो अतुल ऑटो के डीलर्स को फाइनेंस की अवेलेबिलिटी कराएगा,
मदद करेगी।
तो इट इज ए स्ट्रेटेजिक मूव। तो पूरा जो 70% स्टेक है वो परचेज किया गया है, करीबन 45 करोड़।
अच्छा अजय साहब, हमने सारी उधर की बातें कर ली। अब वो शेयरधारक कंफ्यूज है अभी भी, तो फिर करना, क्योंकि स्टॉक पिछले कुछ दिनों में बड़ा अच्छा मूव दिखा गया। जब ये स्कूल रीओपनिंग खबर आई थी, महाराष्ट्र राष्ट्र अनलॉक की खबर आई, अतुल ऑटो का स्टॉक छप्पर फाड़ा था। तब मुझे अपन दोनों की वो बातचीत याद आ रही थी, स्कूल रीओपनिंग, वो सेंटिमेंट्स तो प्ले कर गए। अब फंडामेंटल्स कब कैच करेंगे? क्योंकि इस क्वार्टर, पिछले साल यही क्वार्टर, इससे पिछला क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर लॉस ही करते जा रहे हैं हम लोग। तो अब आप तो प्रेसिडेंट फाइनेंस हैं, हिसाब किताब कर रहे होंगे, कब तक फिर आप लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो हालात बेहतर होंगे, कब तक प्रॉफिटेबल होगा, और कितनी सेल्स दरअसल करनी चाहिए ताकि आप लोग ब्रेक इवन में एटलीस्ट पहुंचे? अभी 1400 यूनिट बेच रहे हैं मंथली।
आशीष जी, आपका सवाल तो काफी मजेदार और इंटरेस्टिंग है। मैं शायद पूरे सवाल का तो जवाब नहीं दे पाऊंगा आपको, क्योंकि बहुत सारी कुछ चीजें वैसी होती है जो क्लासिफाइड होती है, बट फिर भी मैं आपने जो बोला उसी लाइन में, देखिए परिस्थितियां थोड़ी टफ है, चैलेंजेस भी टफ है, बट अतुल ऑटो के पास जो एक यूनिक चीज है वो ये है आशीष जी कि हमारे पास 500 kg प्लेटफॉर्म पे, 350 kg प्लेटफॉर्म पे प्रोडक्ट्स अवेलेबल है। दूसरा, हर एक टाइप के थ्री व्हीलर्स अवेलेबल है। खास करके अगर हम पैसेंजर एप्लीकेशन कंसीडर करें तो उसमें हमारे पास करीबन 4 एप्लीकेशन है। कार्गो के लिए और कस्टमाइज व्हीकल का जो हमारे पास पूरा फ्लीट है, वो करीबन 24 अलग अलग एप्लीकेशन का है। अभी तक हम डीजल पे काम कर रहे थे, तो हमारे पास अभी अर्बन पार्ट में जहां पर अल्टरनेट फ्यूल थ्री व्हीलर का जो एक बड़ा स्कोप बन रहा है, वो हमारे पास अवेलेबल है। इसके साथ साथ कंपनी इज गियरिंग अप फॉर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल एज वेल। तो हमारे पास
अभी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल रेडी है क्या, मार्केट में है क्या?
जी, हमारे अतुल इलाइट व्हीकल L3 और L5 दोनों कैटेगरी में मार्केट में अवेलेबल
तो
है।
ये 1400 जो यूनिट अगस्त में बेचे थे, उसमें कितनी ईवी बिक रही है अभी कि नहीं बिक रही है? अभी जल्दी है।
करीबन 10% अभी हमारा जो रेवेन्यू है वो इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल से आ रहा है आशीष जी। और आगे हम ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि हमने जो अतुल रिक अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल लॉन्च किया है वो, और इसके साथ साथ हम अतुल ई रिक भी आगे करीबन 6 या 8 महीने में।
तो बेसिकली आप वेल पोजिशन्ड हो, किसी भी सेगमेंट में अच्छा उछाल आए, किसी भी सेगमेंट में हालात को सुधरे, तो अतुल ऑटो को बुलाने के लिए तैयार बैठा है ना। और आप ये नहीं बताओगे मुनाफा कब तक आएगा, वो कह रहे हैं, गैस करना भी मुश्किल है अभी। ये मान लूं आंसर टेक अवे?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
चलिए अधिया साहब, समय कम है, थैंक यू सो मच जुड़ने।
So one more video I'll be sharing with you is the recent interview which happened in April 2022. Let us go forward and see that. So
डंजो डेली पे मिलती है सबसे ताजा ग्रोसरीज और 20 मिनट में, तो फ्रिज का क्या नाम है? असली स्टॉक मार्केट सर्च देखनी क्या होती है? आ जाओ। This is my 150 book stock market lesson. Exercise which as promised हमारे साथ अतुल ऑटो के प्रेसिडेंट बनाए जितेंद्र अधिया साहब।
जुड़ते हुए अधिया साहब, स्वागत है। सॉरी थोड़ा डिले के साथ आपके पास आ रहे हैं हम लोग, पर बढ़िया मूव है आज 10-11% के आसपास का अतुल ऑटो में। वो कुछ होंडा पावर पैक के साथ करार कर दिया है आपने, क्या करार है अधिया साहब, क्या करने की तैयारी हो रही है?
आशीष जी, जैसे आप हमारा जो ई मोबिलिटी का प्रोग्राम है, इसका एक ये पार्ट है। हम अपना फिक्स बैटरी सॉल्यूशन वाला व्हीकल तो आगे जाके लॉन्च करने ही वाले हैं। साथ में ई एनर्जी में बहुत सारा सॉल्यूशंस मिल रहे हैं। ये पूरा जो थ्री व्हीलर का फंडामेंटल है वो चेंज हो रहा है। उसके साथ स्वेपेबल बैटरी इज गोइंग टू बी द फ्यूचर। और होंडा के साथ जो हमारा करार हुआ है तो वो इस तरह से है कि अतुल के व्हीकल में होंडा का स्वेपेबल बैटरी लगेगा। होंडा इज गोइंग टू पुट अप एज पर देयर प्रोग्राम स्वेपेबल बैटरी स्टेशंस ऑल अक्रॉस द कंट्री एंड अतुल विल बी पार्ट ऑफ प्रोवाइडिंग व्हीकल सॉल्यूशन।
तो होगा ईवी और उसमें जो बैटरी सॉल्यूशंस होंगे वो होंडा के होंगे और वो स्वैपेबल बैटरी सॉल्यूशंस होंगे।
जी जी आशीष जी।
अच्छा, ये थ्री व्हीलर स्पेस में ईवी का चलन कितना पिकअप हुआ है आजकल? फोर व्हीलर में तो बहुत नजर आ रहा है, टू व्हीलर में बहुत पिकअप हो रहा है, थ्री व्हीलर में भी ईवी का चलन पिकअप हुआ है क्या दिया साहब?
श्योरली आशीष जी। अगर आप देखें, अगर हम पहले सियाम के डेटा रिफर करेंगे फिर वाहन पे जाएंगे।
हाँ।
सियाम का अगर डेटा अगर हम रिफर करते हैं तो FY21 ईवी कंट्रीब्यूशन वाज अराउंड 2.5%। वो FY22 में बट के इट इज अप टू 8.75%। gradually EV is increasing in overall stake of three wheeler, that is from Siam. If we analyze the data of वाहन, जहां पर ई रिक्शा और बहुत सारे अनऑर्गेनाइज प्लेयर जहां पर है वहां पर अप्रोक्सीमेटली ऑन एन मंथली रेट 18 से 20 हजार व्हीकल का बिक्री हो रहा है। सो अगर दोनों मिला के अगर हम समझते हैं तो कम से कम L3 L5 कैटेगरी में ईवी में थ्री व्हीलर का एनीवेयर बिटवीन 2.5 लाख to 3 लाख का वॉल्यूम डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में हो रहा है।
साहब पता है, मुझे तो पता नहीं है स्वैपेबल बैटरीज, लेकिन मेरे दिमाग में एक सवाल आता है, मैं जब नई गाड़ी खरीदता हूँ चकाचक बैटरी होती है, उसको मैं कैसे किसी पुरानी बैटरी के साथ स्वैप करूंगा? तो आप जब गाड़ी बेचोगे तो एक्स ऑफ बैटरी बेचोगे और उसमें रिप्लेसेबल होंडा की वो रेंटेड बैटरी लग जाएगी, ऐसा होगा क्या?
जी, यहाँ पर आशीष जी थोड़ा रेवेन्यू मॉडल, बिजनेस मॉड्यूल डिफरेंट होगा। अगर इसको कन्वेंशनल व्हीकल के साथ अगर हम जोड़ के देखते हैं तो फिक्स बैटरी सॉल्यूशन में एक्विजिशन कॉस्ट ऑफ द व्हीकल विल बी हायर। और जिस तरह से हम कन्वेंशनल व्हीकल चलाते हैं कि हम उसको एनर्जाइज करने के लिए अगर गैस स्टेशन पे लेके जाते हैं, उसी तरह से यहाँ पर बैटरी वुड बी अवेलेबल ऑन रेंटल और जितना एनर्जी कंज्यूम होगा उस हिसाब से कस्टमर को चार्ज किया जाएगा।
अच्छा अजय साहब, बहुत दिनों बाद आपसे वापस बातचीत हो रही है, खबर आई, स्टॉक मूव करा तो चर्चा हो रही है, लेकिन लास्ट टाइम जब हम लोग की बातचीत हुई थी तब आपने वो सेल्स वॉल्यूम ठंडे थे तो आपने मेंशन करा था कि जब तक स्कूल कॉलेजेस खुलेंगे नहीं तब तक हमारा वो एक्स्ट्रा पेंट अप डिमांड नहीं आएगी। अब तो स्कूल कॉलेजेस खुलने लगे, मार्च का आंकड़ा ठीक ठाक है, जबकि वो डिप्रिसिएशन के बेनिफिट्स लिए जाते हैं तो थोड़ी सेल्स बेहतर होती है। वो मीनिंगफुल अपटिक कब आएगा सेल्स में अजय साहब?
देखिए आशीष जी, ये धीरे धीरे खुलना चालू हुआ है। मैं आपको यहाँ पर और एक बात रिमाइंड कर दूं कि थ्री व्हीलर सेल्स इरिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ ब्रांड इट इज हेवीली डिपेंडेंट ऑन रिटेल फाइनेंस। धीरे जो पिछले 2 साल में जो भी लिमिटेड फाइनेंसर्स थे दे वर जस्ट बिजी विथ पुटिंग अप देयर बुक्स अप्रोप्रिएटली, देयर कलेक्शन साइकिल वाज डिस्टर्ब। अब जाके फाइनेंसर्स मैदान में आएंगे और ग्रेजुअली ये सेल पिकअप होगा। हालांकि आप भी माहितगार हो कि सप्लाई चेन काफी हद तक डिस्टर्ब है, रॉ मटेरियल प्राइस में वोलेटिलिटी इज वेरी हाई। सो आई एक्सपेक्ट Q1, Q2 you will see the gradual recovery and growth, and once overall environment is stabilized from I expect sometimes from H2, and then we will see the real numbers coming up for three-wheeler industry.
सर मैं आपसे एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहूँगा, बस आखिरी प्रश्न शायद पॉसिबल ही होगा। टैक्स स्ट्रक्चर में, जीएसटी स्ट्रक्चर में क्या इस स्पेस के आगे बढ़ने के लिए एक ज़रूरत है कुछ बदलाव? आप देखिए ना, फॉर इंस्टेंस बैटरी पे आपका जीएसटी है करीब 18%, ना ईवी पे आपका अगर आप देखें जो जीएसटी है वो 5%। इस डिफरेंशियल को पूरा या फिर खत्म करना काफ़ी ज़रूरी है इस वक्त?
अब मैं तो तीनों जगह पर आई एक्सपेक्ट डेफिनेटली रिलीफ फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट। फर्स्ट थिंग आशीष जी, थ्री व्हीलर इज ए व्हीकल फॉर ए कॉमन मैन, जिनको पर्सनल ट्रांसपोर्टेशन अफोर्डेबल नहीं है, व्हीकल है उस पे रेगुलर ऑटोमोबाइल का रेट ऑफ टैक्स आई बिलीव कि नहीं लगना चाहिए और यहाँ पर रिलीफ होनी चाहिए। 28% कन्वेंशनल व्हीकल पे है। सो दैट इज पॉइंट नंबर 1। दूसरा, जैसे आपने बोला कि बैटरी पे 18% और ईवी पे 5%, यस, यहाँ पर OEM और एंड यूजर दोनों के लिए थोड़ा प्रॉब्लमेटिक है, क्योंकि अगर OEM इसमें इन्वेस्ट करता जाएगा, क्योंकि जीएसटी का जो वर्किंग कैपिटल उनका उस पे इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा, दैट वुड बी मच हायर। सो कंसीडरिंग दिस गैप एंड कंसीडरिंग the use of the vehicle, definitely we expect a lower rate of tax for three wheelers.
हादिया साहब, थैंक यू सो मच। सुना है आप दिन भर बिजी थे, उस बीच आपने वो रिक्वेस्ट के लिए मंजूरी दे दी, आप बातचीत। अच्छा, ये दिन भर बिजी थे, बैक टू बैक मीटिंग चल रही है, ये होंडा के अलावा किसी और के साथ जेबीओबी की तैयारी हो रही है क्या?
अरे सर, आप तो आपके पास जरूर आएंगे, जैसे ही जो भी चीज मटेरियलाइज होती है तो जरूर आपके माध्यम से सबको बताएंगे सर।
नहीं भाई ठीक है अदिति साहब, थैंक यू सो मच समय निकालने के लिए। अच्छा क्विकली अतुल ऑटो पे मानस जरा चार्ट देख के बताइएगा, आज तो मुंह आ रहा है, बातचीत करते थोड़ा सा और दूर पकड़ गया, लेकिन कोई दमकम है?
So key takeaways from this management interview is, first of all, he talked about capacity expansion. Then he talked about the challenges for this sector, because the sector is means three-wheeler segment is heavily dependent on auto financiers, and they have also created a mitigation strategy for that by buying out Khushbu Auto Finance. And Khushbu Auto Finance itself is today valued at around 65 crore. Earlier they were having a stake of 30%. Now they own 100% of that company. And in this current valuation of 360 crore of Atul Auto, out of that 65 crore will be from Khushbu Auto Finance itself. So I think the company is deeply undervalued. So let us go forward and understand interesting information. So interesting information, Vijay Kedia bought Atul Auto at around 5 to 10 in range, and there was no movement. After he bought, there was no movement in the share price for the 4 to 5 years. And after few years, within 2 to 3 years, the stock went up from 10 rupees to 500 rupees. This is very much important to understand as a community member. The reason for that is a lot of people get upset when the stock is not moving up after 1 to 2 years. If the business is going right, if the everything is going right, there is no need of worrying. The reason for that is ultimately it becomes important whether you are here for wealth creation or a fortune creation. Stock market is a place for fortune creation, and if we are not able to hold such opportunities, we'll miss a lot of opportunities. That's why I put this interesting information here. The stock went up 100x. Just think that, as I always say, that 80% of the stock which it does is all time pass. Returns are always generated in 20% times. And after waiting for 5 years, the stock moved up 100x in next 3 to 4 years. So this is what happened with Atul Auto. Atul held 30% stake in Khushbu Auto Finance, which recently increased to 100%. The stake is valued today at 64 crore, as I discussed earlier also. Even after such a bad phase for the past 4 years, an expansion, because a lot of money has been spent on expansion, the debt to equity ratio is just 0.58 times, and CRISIL has rated its long-term debt at BB plus and short-term debt as AA plus. I'm just opening the CRISIL report right now. After CRISIL report, company is working at a capacity utilization of just 13.5%. This I have discussed about secret sauce of a multi-bagger, that capacity utilization or operational leverage should be high. So here, after the recent capacity expansion, capacity utilization is just 13.5%. As company just manufactured 16,061 three-wheelers compared to a capacity of 1.2 lakh units. This provides huge room for operational leverage in future. And let me tell you, 16,000 manufacturing was because of COVID, because there was no demand, everything was locked down. Earlier, the production went as high as 50,000. So there is a huge pent-up demand. Once everything has started opening up, we'll see the gradual recovery over the next 2 to 3 quarters. So company has its product presence across all spectrums, as I discussed earlier also. Positives: comfortable debt to equity 0.5 times, which is very comfortable. Skin in the game, promoter is holding 52.7%. Presence across all segments, caters to diverse customer base in cargo, passenger segment, available both platforms. 350 kg payload capacity and 500 kg payload capacity, multi-fuel choice, and e-vehicle. Focus on export market. Atul has made a progress in international market by exporting 3,371 vehicles in FY20. Company has explored its reach in South Africa, Egypt, Mexico, Madagascar, Congo, Nepal, Honduras, Afghanistan, and Senegal countries. Introduction of e-vehicle. Recent launch of three-wheeler electric vehicle brand Atul Elite Rickshaw will drive its sales growth going forward. Also, government push towards electric vehicle use is huge because GST and all those supportive policy things are going favorable for e-vehicle. Right now, they are just having 12% of its total sales to e-vehicle, but that is going to increase further. That might increase to as high as 15 to 20% in future, but all those segment will remain. Capacity expansion from internal accruals. Most Atul Auto has completed the expansion of 60,000 units at Ahmedabad, designed to cater all spectrums. Majority of the capex was done through internal accruals. Now the capacity has doubled. Negatives. What are the key monitorables? Inability to ramp up the capacity utilization, causing low asset sweating and thus pressure on margins. Prolonged downturn in the economy, credit unavailability from three vehicle financiers, but I don't think that as a risk, because gradually once the COVID has subsided, most of the financiers are giving the finance for three wheelers, and even Khushbu Auto Finance themselves, the captive capacity which they have created, it will help us go. It will help them going forward. Policy risk associated with the policies related to norms prescribed, but I think this cycle has already done. The policies BS3 to BS4, BS5, all those upgrades which government did with the thing, with those things with auto, that has already done. Weak monsoons can impact the volume growth, because this is a bet on rural economy indirectly. This is a bet on entrepreneurial activity, and most of the revenues and most of the people live, means work on the basis of agriculture, and weak monsoons can impact the volume growth. It is not a risk, it is a key monitorable which can, we based on that we need to see margin profile going forward. It will help us understand that. Increased raw material cost can also impact the margin. So these are the negatives slash risk or key monitorables which we need to see going forward. My take is Atul Auto has proved its mettle in past by showing its strong capabilities and has become an important name in three-wheeler market in India. Promoters are ground to earth, and it is prudent, and they are prudent and conservative in their approach. This is evident from their capex plans being from internal cash accruals. With auto sector going through a rough patch for the past 4 years, driven by policy changes, EV uncertainty, COVID, Atul Auto couldn't stay away from the sector realities, and thus profitability took a hit in past few years. However, the with worst seems to be behind for the sectors, and green shoots are can be seen once again. Atul Auto, which has a reasonable debt and has under capacity utilization, utilized capacity of 1 lakh units of three-wheeler, it is poised to benefit from the upcycle in automotive sector. It is just a matter of time. Atul can once again reach the utilization levels of 90% to produce 1 lakh units per annum, to do a sales of 1,300 to 1,400 crores and a net profit of 100 to 120 crores in next 3 to 5 years. Trailing 12-month sales was around 312 crores and a loss of 24 crores. That's not minus, that is hyphen. So sales was 312 crores and a loss of 24 crores. If it is able to do that, profit will be whooping 10 times compared to FY21, FY22. So thus, Atul Auto is a bet on high sales growth, margin expansion, operating leverage, FCF generation, free cash flow generation, EPS growth, and mean reversion. So this company has all those secret sauces which can make this a potential wealth creator. We need to monitor going forward, and it's a bet on mean reversion. I have written a blog on mean reversion. If you have not gone through that, just understand that it will be helpful for you as an investor. So Atul is thus a potential long-term wealth creator. Only time will tell how much wealth is created here. So with this, I complete my today's session and hope you have got a lot of insights about the fundamentals of Atul Auto and what can be the possible future for Atul Auto over the next 3 to 5 years, how the profits can jump, how the sales can jump, all that we have discussed.